New Crepe Erase Advanced gives you even faster results.
And now it's time for the latest exciting episode of Doz's Television Workshop.
Hello and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we're going to be looking at cow. No, not one of those, one of these. Yes, Computer Originated World, used by the BBC to generate their logo from February 1985 to February 1991. And sadly we haven't got the real hardware to look at because these things are very rare, but we've managed to make an emulation using a Raspberry Pi. Now this span out of the PiCow project after Chris, he posted on the VRAP forum and said, what I really like is a cow. So I sort of scratched my head for 2 minutes and thought, well, the hardware I think is going to be the same. So let's have a look at that. And also there's a little circuit for powering the thing down that's quite interesting. And if you're going to build a Raspberry Pi PatGen, you might want to incorporate this design into it. Anyway, let's have a look. Right, you can sort of see it borrows the design very much from Pi PatGen, except for we've got a much simplified front panel. We've got video output there. This audio socket is only audio in, and I'll come to that in a minute. We've got a power switch, singular, and an LED. Right, let's actually have a look at what we've got in the box. So we've got a bit of USB power coming in, and that feeds this board over here. Now I'll take you through that in a minute. We've got the same Sony PlayStation modulator that we had last time, but this time we've got a Raspberry Pi Zero W. These have become recently available again, although I've had this one a while, and in fact some of the GPIO pins on it are in fact cooked due to an error made in a project a number of years ago when these first came out. So yeah, there we go, but it's perfectly adequate for this. So yeah, let's just talk about this little board for a second. And what it does, USB power comes in and nothing happens to it. The Raspberry Pi and the modulator are actually controlled by this hugely oversized relay here. And what happens if I push power now, we should get an image on the screen. Be really nice if the capture device was working. There we go. That will now boot. The TV set, by the way, is being fed from RF, so there's a few flickers. I think that's actually interference from my radio mic and the camera. So there you go. It's a Computer Originated World. Yeah, there's definitely some RF getting in here. But there we go. So you can see that beautifully on the screen grab there. And yeah, so that's it. So what does the board do? Well, previously on Pi PatGen, we had that shutdown button. And it's very easy to overlook and just kill the power or clunk the bench. And yeah, you run the risk of damaging the memory cards. Thankfully, the image is available on my website. So you haven't got to worry about it too much. You can always make another one. But just to prevent that happening, what this board does, if we switch the power off, two contacts automatically run the shutdown routine on the Raspberry Pi. So that is now shutting down. You can just see the light flashing there maybe. That's it. The Pi is now dead. And in a couple of seconds, the relay should go click. There you go. The power is now off. We're safely shut down and disconnected. Let's go and have a look at the schematic of that circuit. Right, I've got the schematic opened in KiCad. This 5-volt supply is coming from our USB lead. We've got a double pole, double throw on switch on the front panel now. Now, the normally closed contacts, they're connecting to pin 6 and pin 12 of the Raspberry Pi. Pin 6 is ground, pin 12 is the GPIO that we've written a script so it shuts it down. the normally open contacts feed this circuit. So obviously when it's off, nothing's happening. When it's on, this capacitor charges up, switches on this inverter, which switches that to 0, it inverts it again, which ends up with a 1 there, which switches on this BC547, which switches the relay on, which powers up our Raspberry Pi. Now, when we switch off, back to off, the Raspberry Pi gets the shutdown signal and starts its shutdown. This capacitor then starts to discharge via a little pot R2, which holds this circuit on for a few seconds. Actually, with this being 1 meg and this being 220 mic, these were just values I started with. You can adjust this. So what you want to do is actually time how long your Raspberry Pi takes to shut down, and then, you know, set this up so the relay clicks over 2 or 3, 4, 5 seconds afterwards, because, you know, electrolytic's going to drift a bit with temperature, etc. So yeah, just allow a little bit of extra time for that to do, and as soon as it's run its time, it'll click off and disconnect the power. So that eliminates the shutdown button. This is just a 4049 inverter, and the only reason it's there is I've got a bucket of them and it provides a high impedance here, so we don't load this capacitor down too much. You could use an op amp, you could use anything in there, but that's the sort of idea behind that little circuit board in there, which allows us to eliminate that pesky shutdown button. There you have it, the Raspberry Pi Cow emulator, running on a Raspberry Pi Zero in this case, which, by the way, is why we've got no audio output. Raspberry Pi Zero doesn't have any audio hardware. You can get hardware to sit on the top, but I just thought what I'm going to do is just link the audio lead from my Pi Pat Gen into there if I want a bit of sound. By the way, the card image, which surprised me, does work on the older revisions of Pis, and it's just as smooth as that, so that's good. Yeah, so there we go. Download the image from MediaFire, link is in the description. Write it with your favourite Raspberry Pi imager or other software, stick it in your Pi and let me know how you get on. Don't forget, if you've got a more modern Pi, you'll need to find where the TV out is, and it doesn't work on a Pi 400, which has no analog video out. The image is PAL only. If there's enough demand, I may make an NTSC one. So yeah, there we go. Right, that about wraps it up for this one. Thanks for watching, and come back really soon to Doz's Television Workshop. Cheers now, bye. That's got to be it, surely to God. Hello, and welcome back to Doz's. Jesus Christ, I've got out of these glasses. Anyway, let's do it one more. Because that